All right, in this video, we are going to add and subtract scientific notation. And when we do that, we use something called LARS, L-A-R-S. That stands for left add, right subtract. That'll make sense in a second. We know that when we add and subtract numbers with exponents, they have to match. So, before we can combine our like terms. So this has a 2 exponent and a 2 exponent. So those match. So all we're going to do is add 3.4 plus 5.2. You can do this in your calculator. It'd probably be easier, but you'll get 8.6. So the answer, when I add these two together, is 8.6 times 10 squared, because I just copy down this last part when it's the same. All right, this one is a tad bit different because I have a 6 here and a 7 here. Those are not the same. So I'm going to have to use LARS, left add. I look at my smaller number, which is my 6. I need to make it a 7. That is one space over, like 7, 6 plus 1 is 7. So this tells me left add. So I take my decimal, move it one place to the left, and now this 6 becomes a 7. And I can put these together now. 9.5 plus 0.11. Just do it in your calculator. 9.61. 9.61 times 10. And we have it as a 7 now. So make sure you use the 7. Okay, this is still an addition problem. I've got a problem. I've got -4 and -5. Well, the -5 is smaller, so it's going to have to change. In order to do that, it needs to change one place. So LARS tells me that left when I add, I'm adding. So I'm going to take my decimal and move it one left. So now, sorry about that, I have 7.24 plus 0.318, which equals 7.558. 7.558, whoa, times 10 to the -4, because that's what we changed it to. All right, this is the last one on this page. We're going to be adding, and we've got a -3 and a -2. Well, this is the smaller number. I need it to go one space to the -2, so I go left 1. Now I have 0.68 plus 2.7. You always line those decimal points up when you add or subtract. So I get 3.38 times 10. We made them both -2's up here. So 10 to the -2. All right, flip over to the back side for me. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we just did. We just need to be careful how many times we move our decimal place. This is an addition problem like the others. I got a 6 and I got an 8. The 6 is smaller. I need it to become an 8. To do that, it needs to add 2. So 2 spaces to the left. It becomes an 8. So then I get 2.5 plus 0.042. That equals 2.542. 2.542 times 10 to the 8th. Okay, this one is similar. I got a -1 and a -3. I need that -3 to become a -1. I do that by adding 2. 1, 2 to the left. Now it's a -1. So I've got 1.8 plus 0.073, 1.873 times 10 to the negative 1. So I hope that the addition ones are pretty easy. And now we're going to do subtraction, because that's what's going on between these. 10 to the 4, 10 to the 4. That's the same. I'm just going to subtract it. 817 minus 2.6. When you subtract those in your calculator, you get 5.57 times 10 to the 4th. All right, same thing. This is a subtraction problem. Negative 2 is the same thing. So when I do 7.59, take away 2.32, I end up with 5.27 times 10 to the negative 2. We just copy the back part right down. All right, we're subtracting again in this one. I have a 12 and I have an 11. So the 11's smaller. I need it to become a 12. I do that by adding 1 to make it a 12. So I move my decimal 1 space. 5 minus 0.9. That gives me 4.1 times 10 to the 12th. Same thing here. I'm subtracting. I've got a negative 4 and a negative 5. This one's smaller. I need it to bump up 1 point to become a negative 4. That means I move my decimal 1 space. 4.2. We just need to make sure we subtract here. Minus, 0.68. When we subtract those, we get 3.52 times 10 to the negative 4. 2 more. Okay, this is another subtraction. I have a negative 1 and a 1. If you know your number line, you know that it is 2 points. A negative 1 is 2 spaces from a 1. So to make that a 1, I move that over 2 spaces. 2.8 minus 0.084. When you subtract those out, you get 2.716 times 10 to the 1st power. All right, last one right here. All right, subtraction. I have a 3 and a 5. To make that 3 become a 5, I got to add 2 to it. So 5.3 minus 0.027. That gives me 5.273 times 10 to the 5th. All right, one more video and then you can get started on your worksheet. Thank you.